After more than 70 incredible years filled with love, effort, and experiences, you've entered a season of life that's both rare and special. This chapter isn't about pushing harder, it's about slowing down, breathing deeper, and finally giving yourself the care you've always offered to others. You've been everything to everyone: parent, partner, caregiver, community builder. But now, it might be time to shift that kindness inward. What if peace and happiness aren't things to chase, but treasures already inside you, waiting to be uncovered? In this reflection, let's talk about 8 things it's okay to release after 70, not out of loss, but from a place of deep love. This isn't about giving up. It's about clearing space for more joy, clarity, and ease. You've collected a lifetime of memories, photos, letters, souvenirs, thoughtful gifts. Each corner of your home tells a story. But at some point, even the most precious items can begin to feel like a weight. Cabinets fill up, drawers get stuck, closets turn into archives. And without realizing it, you may feel mentally or emotionally exhausted, not from your schedule, but from what surrounds you. This isn't about cleanliness, it's about energy. Too much clutter can cloud your sense of peace. Letting go of things that no longer reflect who you are today isn't erasing your past. It's honoring your present. It's saying, I'm still here, and I deserve to live with ease. You don't have to start big. Choose one shelf, one drawer, one small spot. Go slowly. Hold each item and ask gently, do I still need this? Do I truly want this? Or am I holding it out of fear? That hesitation? It's normal. But on the other side of it is freedom. And here's something beautiful. Many of the items you no longer need could bring joy to someone else. A cozy blanket, a set of dishes, an old radio that still plays your favorite tunes. Sharing them isn't wasteful, it's a new way to spread love. Having less doesn't mean having nothing. It means having more space, for peace, for presence, for what really matters. Brain now, let's talk about something else you might be holding on to. Let go of relationships that drain your spirit. You've carried a lot, emotionally and mentally, for the people in your life. You've shown up even when you were tired, poured love into places that gave nothing back, and kept peace when it cost you your own. But not every relationship that's lasted years deserves to follow you into the next phase of your life. Ask yourself, does this connection make me feel seen, valued, loved? Or do I feel small, overlooked, or emotionally worn down? You are not required to keep people close just because of shared history. It's okay to limit how much energy you give to those who leave you feeling empty. You can choose to step back, not with anger, but with wisdom. That might mean more silence, more space, or lighter conversations. It might mean saying no, without guilt, or trusting that your peace matters more than someone's approval. This isn't the end of love, it's the beginning of a deeper love for yourself. You deserve companionship that warms your soul. People who call to check on you because they care, not just when they need something. You deserve to be surrounded by those who truly listen and embrace who you are today, not who they expect you to be. In this season of life, your energy is precious. Protect it. Give it only to those who uplift and cherish it. Because love, real love, should never make you feel unseen or unworthy. Let's move to something many women carry quietly: responsibilities that no longer belong to you. Throughout your life, you've been the organizer, the caretaker, the one who held everything together. You cooked the meals, hosted the holidays, made the lists, and handled all the tiny details others overlooked. But now, ask yourself, do these responsibilities still bring you joy? Or are they silently draining you? Just because you've always done something doesn't mean you always have to. You've earned rest. You've earned the right to step back and ask, is this still mine to carry? Maybe your adult children still call you to solve every problem. Maybe you're still the one expected to do everything, out of habit, not necessity. But what if it's time to pass the torch? Let them host the next holiday. Let someone else handle the cleanup. Let yourself rest, not because you're giving up, but because you've done more than enough already. This isn't about selfishness. It's about balance. It's about no longer confusing exhaustion with purpose. When your home starts feeling like a checklist instead of a sanctuary, it's okay to say, "Not today." If stepping back makes you feel lighter, that's reason enough. Let the weeds grow sometimes. Let others rise in your absence. You are not letting anyone down, you're letting go of the pressure to hold everything up. And in doing so, you create space for peace, ease, and clarity. Now, let's talk about another quiet weight: regret. By the time you reach this season of life, you've collected both joy and sorrow, triumphs and missteps. And if you're like many women, there's a voice inside whispering, "I should have done more." Or, "I made too many mistakes." That's the voice of regret, one of the heaviest burdens we carry. But here's the truth: regret changes nothing about the past. It only steals from today. What if, instead of judging your younger self, you offered her grace? What if you reminded her, "You were doing the best you could"? Let go of the late-night thoughts about things you can't change. Let go of the guilt for staying too long, for trusting too deeply, for not knowing what you know now. You are not defined by your missteps. You are shaped by your resilience. Every hardship gave you wisdom. Every loss made you more compassionate. And every closed door led to something unexpected, something you may not have found otherwise. Even now your story matters. Even now your days are rich with meaning. Also, that harsh inner critic, the one that says you're not thin enough, smart enough, organized enough? Would you ever say those things to a dear friend? Of course not. So why say them to yourself? You've earned the right to speak kindly to yourself. You don't need to earn your worth, you already have it. Let your thoughts reflect the compassion you so freely offer others. Silence the critic. Replace it with encouragement. Letting go of regret doesn't mean pretending everything was perfect. It means honoring that you survived, you learned, and you're still here, with so much wisdom and love to give. Now that we've talked about releasing regret and overwhelming responsibilities, let's shift focus to something more subtle: the small habits that quietly drain your joy. Over the years, many women develop certain behaviors out of necessity. Pushing through exhaustion, skipping meals, putting everyone else's needs first, holding in emotions. In your younger years, these patterns may have helped you manage a busy life. But now, your body and soul ask for something different: slowness, gentleness, nourishment. These requests are not signs of weakness. They're your body's way of saying, "Pay attention." Maybe you've fallen into routines like drinking coffee all day but never enough water. Watching the news for hours and feeling heavy afterward. Sitting too long because moving feels hard. Saying yes out of guilt, or avoiding doctor visits out of fear. These little patterns can feel harmless, but over time, they take a toll. They affect your mood, your sleep, your sense of connection. The good news? It's never too late to begin again. You don't need a strict routine or a total lifestyle overhaul. You just need to treat yourself with tenderness. Start small. Drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. Step outside and breathe fresh air. Stretch gently by the window. Turn off the news when it becomes too much. Health at this stage is about more than avoiding illness. It's about creating a life that feels light, calm, and nourishing. You deserve to feel well, not because you've worked hard enough to earn it, but because you are alive. That's reason enough. Let go of the habits that leave you feeling low. Replace them with tiny moments of care. You're not too old to change. You're finally wise enough to know what truly matters. Now let's move even deeper, to the beliefs that have kept you small. Many women grew up in a time where being quiet was seen as polite, where sacrifice was expected, and where aging meant becoming invisible. But those beliefs? They're not laws. They're just old stories. And it's okay to stop living by them. You don't need to shrink yourself so others feel comfortable. You don't need to stay silent to keep the peace. And you certainly don't need to fade just because you've aged. This stage of life isn't about disappearing, it's about unfolding. You're allowed to speak up. You're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to grow, especially now. Maybe you were taught that asking for help was weakness, but the truth is, it's strength. Maybe you believed your worth was in how much you did for others, but now, it's time to put yourself first. Letting go of old beliefs isn't about turning your back on your past, it's about honoring how far you've come. It's about stepping into who you've become, free from outdated expectations. You are not finished growing. You are not finished becoming. Ask yourself, what beliefs are keeping me small? What have I been taught that no longer fits? You're not behind. You're right on time. You're not too old to try something new, meet new people, or learn something different. You are wise, resilient, and still unfolding. Let go of any thought that tells you otherwise. Let's talk now about something many don't speak about openly, but nearly everyone feels: money worries. You've spent decades budgeting, saving, making sacrifices, not just for yourself, but for your family. Maybe you skipped vacations, delayed purchases, or passed on things you wanted, all so someone else could have more. And even now, in your 70s or beyond, those old habits of financial stress might still linger. But the truth is, many of those fears no longer reflect your reality. They're just echoes from a time when things were different. There's a difference between being wise with money and living in quiet anxiety. If your needs are being met today, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to offer yourself a little ease. You've earned the right to enjoy what you've built. That doesn't mean being reckless. It means allowing joy. You don't need permission to buy the chair that helps your back, to enjoy a good meal, or to enroll in the class you always dreamed of. You don't need to explain your choices, not to your kids, not to anyone. This is your time. You didn't save and sacrifice just to keep living in fear. You did it so one day, you could feel free, peaceful, and cared for. If you're still carrying the what ifs, what if I run out, what if I'm a burden, consider speaking with someone you trust. A friend, a financial advisor, someone who can help you get clarity. Because often, what drains us isn't the money, it's the uncertainty. And with understanding comes confidence. Let go of the guilt around spending on your comfort. Let go of the belief that you must always do more, give more, hold back. You've already given plenty. Now let your resources serve you for a change. Now, one last thing, and it might be the most powerful of all. Let go of the fear of change. You've built a life filled with routines and familiar comforts. There's safety in knowing what to expect, in doing what you've always done. But sometimes, that very comfort can keep you stuck. Maybe you've thought about moving to a smaller home. Maybe you've lost connections, or your body doesn't feel the same, and it all feels overwhelming. Maybe you avoid new things, like learning technology or joining new groups, because it's unfamiliar. But change isn't your enemy. It's not something to fear, it's an invitation. Yes, it may bring discomfort. Yes, it may ask you to grieve what was. But it also opens the door to something better, new peace, new friendships, new joys you haven't even discovered yet. Remember all the changes you've already survived: retirement, loss, health scares, starting over. You adapted. You grew. You made it through. That strength? It's still with you. You don't fear change because you're weak. You fear it because you know it's hard. But you also know, deep down, you're ready. Let this be your time. You've loved, sacrificed, raised families, stood tall in hard times, and poured love into everyone around you. Now it's your turn, to rest, to breathe, to create space for calm and clarity. Let go of what no longer serves you. Not because you're giving up, but because you're choosing peace. When you release the clutter, the tension, the old fears, you invite in softness, stillness, and freedom. You are not defined by what you give away. You are shaped by what you carry forward. And from this day on, may what you carry feel light, loving, and fully yours. Because you are enough. Now. Always.